This video is going to be about the Sambuca di Sicilia two-year homes and how that applies to this channel. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you most likely know that I have just recently visited Sambuca of Sicily. I have a much more in-depth video coming out soon sharing my actual experience in Sambuca, but I wanted to inaugurate this day to celebrate the fact that I made an offer on a two-year home. Actually, I made 2 offers on side-by-side properties, and if you want to know more about the result of those offers, make sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button conveniently placed below. And unfortunately, at this point, it's too late for you to participate in this round in Sambuca specifically, but there will be more auction rounds in the future. If that disappoints you, I suggest that you either follow me on Instagram or join the Patreon community for more in-depth updates, live updates regarding my daily activities. That way you don't really miss out on any upcoming opportunities. Now, just use the link in the description in the corner or search Davo on patreon.com. Now for this video, we'll talk about why I chose Sambuca, the offer process, how to get some real numbers for your budget, and give you some tips on both what to look out for if you decide to pull the trigger on an Italian €1 home. If you're new to the channel, here's a few things that you need to know if it wasn't already obvious. My name's Davo, and I frequently visit smaller villages which have been depopulating for the last few decades. From Piemonte all the way to Sicily, I visited nearly every region, viewing these so-called €1 homes and documenting the process. Till now, I've merely been a spectator collecting video footage, making personal contact with municipality leaders, and rubbing shoulders with locals in order to determine if these €1 homes are worth the effort. Because I personally prefer, particularly usually, to purchase auction properties, which to me have a little bit more value and a more obvious location options to choose from. Now, in doing all these visits, I've learned that not all €1 home communities are alike. On my last trip, I was able to visit multiple €1 home communities, and admittedly, there were a few that weren't my favorite. I'll be sharing those experiences soon as well, but that gives you another reason so you can subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Thank you very much for doing so. So, how can you tell whether a community is worth investing into? For me, there are a few telltale signs. First of all, the municipality. I haven't had the opportunity to meet the mayor in all the villages I visited, but I can tell you when I see community leaders leading the charge for economic growth, to me that's a good sign. You could argue that joining the €1 home initiative in general is a clear sign of forward thinking, but from my perspective, all you really need for that is a phone call to CNN or Forbes and to add your own out-of-the-box hook on selling a €1 home, and the masses will come running expecting a free house. And that's really not enough to prove growth or forward thinking within a community. You need to look deeper into what else has been happening into the community over the last few years, decades, to decide if the leaders want what is best for the residents or are just trying to take advantage of some popular excitement, I guess I would say. Take Sambuca and Castiglione, both who sport the additional identifier di Sicilia, for example. Sambuca di Sicilia, Castiglione di Sicilia. Both belong to an organization called Borghi Più Belli d'Italia, or Most Beautiful Villages of Italy, along with more than 250 others spread across Italy's 20 regions. It was organized in 2001, and recently they've been awarding basically a first place position. And in 2016, Sambuca of Sicily took the first place position as Most Beautiful Italian Village, based on a popular vote influenced by the art and architectural photos that were submitted by the municipality for that year. Since then, more people have taken notice of Sambuca, and the community hasn't stopped there. Number 2, the real estate. In order to arrive at the point of being classified as a €1 home village, there's obviously something lacking in regards to local investing, local economy, jobs, and admittedly, there are neglected properties even in the biggest cities of Italy. But when I see a community that has gone decades without an external facelift on its principal streets, or seemingly the entire village, we're talking about thousands of properties, I see it as a red flag. These days, with Italy dishing out one stimulus package after the other, there's been plenty of time for even these smaller communities to influence local residents to freshen up their real estate. And when it's not happening, I see that as a problem. Even if you can argue that they don't have the money or the jobs to do so, when there's a will, there's a way. When the entire city has been neglected, not even offering over 100 homes for €1 is going to make much of an impact for the few thousand residents. All right, so the third thing that is something I look out for when looking at €1 home villages is the people. Now this one is a little bit harder to ascertain when trying to decide which community best suits you from a distance. Another reason is because Italians in general are really great people, and unless you really dig in and spend some time getting to know people in the community before purchasing, it may not be helpful to you to focus on this. But I'll just say I prefer a community where the majority of the population is on board with the initiative. When visiting a village, as I've basically just described, you'll feel like you're coming home for the first time.
Okay, number 4, this is actually pretty low on my list of criteria, but location is important. One-year homes are very restricted regarding location, and I know many of you, it would potentially be the very first most important thing, and that maybe that'll hold you back from a one-year home community, but you know, it's worth checking out. Something within a short distance to the airport, and ideally not too far from the sea, something near the train line. These are things people typically look for, and they don't sound half bad either. This, again, is not my top tier amongst one-year home communities because they're all about the same. And needless to say, Sambuca has checked the right boxes for me. If you have a moment, write in the comments what you're looking for, perhaps when you're looking for an Italian community. Perhaps you already looked, you've chosen, and tell me what you looked for. Ever since 2016, Sambuca has been showing signs of upward growth. After being chosen as one of Italy's most beautiful villages, as discussed previously, they've continued to search for new ways of adding value to their community, including joining the one-year home community list and coming up with new ways of marketing it. After getting to know them for visiting, basically for the last 3 consecutive years, I'll be proud if our community here on YouTube can help the world take notice of this little Sicilian town.
Let's talk about the offer process that I went through in order to make an offer. In order to purchase a 2-year home in Sambuca this year, all interested parties were required to submit an envelope with their offer enclosed. In it contained personal identification, a module provided by the city showing intent to purchase and basically the rules in which you're going to purchase under. And it also contained a proof of payment of the deposit of 5,000 euros, which will be held by the city in the event of winning the auction. It is refundable apart from about 25 euros for secretarial transaction fees, and it will be returned after the project completion. Now just think of it basically as an insurance policy to make sure bidders are serious. Anytime anything's free, everybody comes running. But as soon as you make a deposit required, you get a little bit more of a serious bidder. Bids were to be submitted by 1 p.m. November 5th, 2021, and at this point, we're awaiting the results, which, if this round is anything like the previous round, it'll be made available to all participants, and I believe the public within the next few weeks. I could have submit a bid in person while visiting Sambuca, but instead I opted to do what I imagine most others had to do, send participation by mail. Now, I visited a week before the end of the auction, and so when I made it back with limited time, I ran the risk of not entering by the deadline, especially with the Italian, well, let's say the mail system. Fortunately, while in Sambuca, I met some amazing locals that were able to print my documentation and deliver my enclosed envelope to the community for a last-minute auction bid.
The general consensus when visiting these properties is that a 1-euro home does not actually cost €1. I think it's become pretty obvious at this point. Now, when visiting Sambuca, I met multiple new homeowners that have invested multiple 6 figures in order to make their 1-year home truly theirs. You can check that out on the videos upcoming. Many HGTV fans across the world experienced Lorraine Bracco's 1-year home remodel actually right there in Sambuca, or at least the TV optimized version of it, and have been convinced that a 1-year home remodel is just not feasible with smaller budgets. Now, my mission with this 1-year home purchase is to show you actual budget numbers when restoring one of these 1-year homes. 2-year home in this case. We're going to follow a base budget, and you'll be able to see the result of that here on this channel. Now, full transparency. I didn't even target a simple project. I specifically chose the house or houses that, in my opinion, need the most intervention and could potentially remain neglected. Pay attention to this part. There's actually going to be a way for you to participate in this project yourselves, both online or in person if you so choose, and in person if you so choose. In addition, during this remodel, we're going to be looking out for additional ways to benefit the community. So I hope you can be excited for that. For now, I can't say a lot about it since I don't even know if I won the property, but if I do, you can be the first to be notified if and how to participate yourselves by sending me your email by following the link in the description provided, or basically up in the corner of this video. I'll just give you a moment to do that. And don't forget to hit like on this video so more people can have the opportunity to participate too. We need a lot of people in order to make this dream a reality. Okay, awesome. I'm excited to work with you guys in finding a way that we can make a positive impact on Sambuca. I also invite you to write in the comments any ideas you have on how we can help Sambuca.
Now let's talk about budgeting. One of the biggest challenges that you will face with an Italian renovation project, especially a one-year-old home one, is getting solid estimates before the project is in your possession. Now I face this challenge on a more or less daily basis, and the conversation usually goes something like this. Ciao, can I get an estimate for a project I'm considering? For example, can you provide me a list of a range of square meter prices for the services that you provide? I just need to get an idea for what's available in the area. I would have to see the property. Okay, I understand, but you obviously have a lot of experience. Can you use an example of your past work and tell me some kind of range for a mid-level remodel? No, there really are too many variables. I would really just have to see the project. Okay, no joke. This is literally my conversation in many cases. There are obviously outliers to this situation and plenty of professionals that do an outstanding job. But especially when dealing with a heavy structural project, the muratore or the bricklayer, the wall builder, especially they will nearly refuse to offer any useful information until they've seen the project. Now, that is somewhat justifiable because Italian houses are centuries old and they have to see what they're working with. But at the same time, it would really be nice to find a bit more professional preparation from their side. Aside from doing a lot of legwork of pricing out everything yourself, the following are the best options during your due diligence phase. From my experience, assuming you have a functioning level of Italian, it's best to start at the architect or geometer level, or perhaps you can find an English-speaking one. You're going to need one for basically mid-sized or large projects anyway, so it's a great first step. Often they'll have already collaborated with multiple professionals in every category, so they know exactly who to talk to. They could ask for a consultation fee, but if they feel that assisting you in gaining these quotes will bring them more work in the future, they may be a little bit more helpful. But I have to say it's correct that you provide compensation for any work that they do for you. You could hire someone more versed in Italian renovation projects to do the legwork here for you as a project manager that speaks English and Italian. This is advantageous for people, well, for completing your project from a distance. Your challenge here, especially you DIYers out there, will be trusting your new hire to care for the project as much as you do. Those of you who can't stay in Italy for longer than a 90-day period will have yet another reason to pursue this course right here. Now, if you'd like to know more about how I can help you, use the link in the description to learn about the services that I offer. Last but not least, I have to mention a new service that hit the Italian real estate market recently. Well, somewhat recently. That would be facileristrutturare.it. Just as the name states, if you speak Italian, Italian remodel budgeting couldn't be easier. I've attempted it myself, and within about 60 seconds, I received a quote on a theoretical property in my area. Check it out using the link in the description as well. Just remember, you're likely to make project changes and find prices don't follow a general estimate, such as what can be provided in 60 seconds. But at least you'll have a quick idea of what an Italian remodel could cost you for a specific area here in Italy. Okay, so let's get to the last section since I know that most of you are busy. Let's say most of you. What are the real dangers of buying a one-year-old home? Here in Sambuca, if you keep watching the channel, you'll see a video showing the two-year-old homes that were available for this round. I have to say at first glance, a few of them seemed ready to live in. I wouldn't say turnkey because that implies some level of comfort and quality, but perhaps you could use it as a base shelter or bomb shelter if necessary. Upon accessing the upper level of one of these properties in particular, I was instructed, after being told it was safe to walk below, to avoid walking in the center of the floor above, in the floor above. Now, why do you think that is? Well, what seemed livable from downstairs was apparently one wrong step away from collapsing on my head. And it would have been nice to know, but it's okay. A trained eye will know what to look out for, but let's just say in general, if it's a one-year-old house, most likely you'll be budgeting for a heavy, more structural remodel in one way, shape, or form. So some things to look out for are the types and the age of the roofing systems, the water, if there's any infiltrations of water, asbestos products in the roof. Some properties still are using lead pipes as drains. Often properties lack gas lines. General access to the property could be one of your main issues if you want to have the capacity to drive a car directly or park near the property as well. Lack of heating systems is especially a big deal in older properties, but most especially in places like Sicily that it stays a bit warmer most of the year. And then in general, I would say just focus on the bathroom, the kitchen, and the electrical heating and gas systems. Now, I truly hope you get a local professional's opinion on the cost of renovation involved before pursuing a one-year home, because it really could become a headache if you aren't ready for what's to come. That's it for now, but be sure to use the links below for your various needs and especially for how you can participate in our upcoming project there in Sambuca. See ya!